One thing is guaranteed in Briançon, that the locals will turn out in force to support their climbing heroes, and so it was for the 2018 World Cup finals. Winning in Briançon is one of climbing's greatest prizes, and Domen Skofic has tasted it before in 2016. This year, he qualified in first place from the semi-finals and put up an excellent fight in the finals, falling eventually 3 moves from the top on what was an extremely physical route to secure himself a bronze medal. After a, by his high standards, disappointing event last week in his hometown of Chamonix, Romain Desgranges was determined to get back on the top of the podium in Briançon. The route suited his style, with lots of crimping strength and endurance required, but he couldn't quite top it and took silver. Despite his prowess as an outdoor climber, Alex Megos had never previously won a World Cup. He'd had 2 medals before, in Cran in 2017 and Chamonix last week, but neither of them gold. In Briançon, he took on everything the final route could throw at him, and kept on fighting through the changes in style and movement which the route required, only to miss out on topping by a single move. In the end, it mattered not, because nobody else could match Alex's high point, and he took the win.
I finally could tick another box of my bucket list by winning a World Cup. Feels good. The 30 seconds when I realized that I probably won were surreal. For the rest of the year, I'll probably still compete in Arco next weekend. I'll do Munich, the Bouldering. We'll see.
In the women's final, no less than 4 Slovenians were joined by an American, an Austrian, a Belgian and a French climber. The Belgian in the group, Anna Verhoeven, has had a tricky start to the season, but claimed her first podium of the 2018 campaign in Briançon. Anak timed her climb to perfection, arriving at the business end of the route with around a minute to go on the clock. Through the pumpy moves on the upper section, she looked solid and composed and got so close to the top hold that she actually touched it but couldn't quite hang on and took the bronze medal. Jessie Pilz had stood on 10 World Cup podiums before she finally got to stand on the top of one last time out in Chamonix. In Briançon, she looked fit, confident and close to unstoppable. The route certainly couldn't stop her, and she topped it seemingly with something to spare, having negotiated the crux head wall with minimal fuss. As so often, Janja Garnbret came out last in the final, having been the highest ranked climber in the semi-final, which meant that matching Jessie's achievement of topping the route would be enough for her to take gold due to count back to that semi-final performance. Seemingly impervious to pressure as ever, Janja looked in complete control throughout, seemingly not troubled by any of the moves, and topped the route, took the gold, and looks on course for a 3rd overall World Cup title in a row.
Standing in the middle of the podium again was super great, and I was so happy. I knew Jessie topped, but it was weird because at the observation I thought that finals would be so hard because it looked like that. Semi-finals were harder, and then near the top, I got a bit nervous because I knew I had to top. And of course I really wanted that win, so I was super motivated to finish that route off.
The climbers now have a week off, and then they'll be back in action in the legendary climbing town of Arco in Italy.